Dear students, I've come with a new module, capacity to contract. So what do you mean by capacity to contract? We know that there are 10 essential elements to make a valid contract. In that, capacity of the person entering into contract is an important concept. So in this topic, we are going to divide the capacity of persons in two categories. When a person will become incapable of entering into contract. This is based on two headings or two topics. One is incapacity arising from the status of an individual or incapacity arising from the mental deficiency of the person contracting. So these 2 points we are going to learn in detail. First, we will look at incapacity arising from the status of an individual. On this basis, we have subdivided this into political or civil status, alien enemy, convicts, business bankrupts, professional status, that is a barrister, an artificial person or corporation. Now, the second category, incapacity arising from mental deficiency of the person contracting. This mental deficiency is not permanent, it may be for some time. But in this category, we are going to cover 4 subdivisions. One is minor, second is insane person, third is idiot, and fourth is a drunken person. Now, the first point and its subdivisions we are going to learn in detail. Incapacity arising from the status of an individual. So here you have to remember status of an individual, the position he is occupying or the official position he is holding. So the first one is political or civil status. So here you have to remember in India we have ambassadors visiting our country or ambassadors serving our country or foreign rulers or ex-rulers visiting our country. So what will be the situation if they will get into any problem when they visit the country or when they are serving our country? So section 86 of the Indian Civil Procedure Code says that in order to sue foreign rulers or ambassadors, prior approval of the central government is mandatory. See, for example, we have different ambassadors. All countries, they have their ambassadors in our country. So if they go into any mistake or which is against the rules of the country, how we will take the decision or how we will take the legal action against the ambassador, or if an ex-ruler or a ruler visiting the country, what will be the situation? So they will become, if they enter into any contract, they are not able to enter into contract. And if the country wants to take any decision for their wrongdoing, it is important that we have to take the prior permission of the central government. Only with that, they can take a legal action. So they are incapable of entering into contract based on the position they are holding for the time being. Second is an alien enemy. Now, alien meaning a person not an Indian is an alien, people living in other countries. So they will become an enemy when war is declared between the two countries. Any two countries, India is declaring a war or any other country is declaring a war with our country, then it will become, the people living in that country will become alien enemy. So here, there are things you have to remember. During the continuance of the war, contracts entered into before war will be suspended during the continuance of the war. So how people will come to know that both the countries are at war? The government will give the notification to the people. So sometimes export-import dealings will be there between people living in both the countries which are declared war. So what they will do, government will with the declaration. So when the war is going on, they have no right to continue with that business. They have to temporarily stop the dealings, business dealings or whatever dealings they will have. So if an Indian resides in an enemy country during war, he or she is also treated as an alien enemy. So then you have to remember that an Indian citizen living in the country where the war is declared by Indian government or that country declared a war with India, then also that person, though he is an Indian citizen, then they are also considered as alien enemy. Now, how they can resume the trade? Once the war is over, government will give the notification. Now we are declaring that war is over and now people are free to interact with each other. So then the government will give the permission to trade will happen between the enemy country once the war is over. Now the third point is convicts, that is person undergoing imprisonment for any wrongdoing, maybe criminal activity or anything like that, killing a person, drug dealing, or attacking somebody's property, attacking somebody, person undergoing imprisonment. So the capacity to contract will regain when he is out of bail or when he is out of prison. When he is undergoing the jail term, he is not entitled to enter into any contract because he is in prison or he is serving imprisonment. Now the next point is bankrupts. So in the case of bankrupts, bankrupt meaning a person giving a declaration to the court saying that my assets are not enough to clear the liabilities. So here you have to remember the official receiver, the court will appoint an official receiver and the official receiver will be dealing with the insolvency office. So the bankrupt will not be able to enter into any contract. For him, the official receiver appointed by the court will act as the person who has to deal with on behalf of the bankrupt person. Now, next is the professional status. So, professional status, a person serving a government office, IAS officers, IPS officers, ministers, MLAs, MPs, their professional status also will decide their incapability to enter into contract. So, here, especially in the case of a barrister in UK, United Kingdom, barristers are considered as specialist legal advisors and courtroom advocates. Their fees will be paid by the government. So barristers will be called by the court to get special advice. Barristers are called to provide specialist advice. The court is inviting them. So they are not capable of entering into contract. That is because of the professional status they hold. Then it's the artificial person or corporation. Artificial person or corporation, you know that these are the institutions or corporations set up by either passing an act in the parliament or in the state legislature. So here SEBI or any act, passed in the parliament or in the Karnataka State Electricity Board, an act passed in the state legislature. So they are getting a special status. They have no physical existence, but the human beings, whoever work there, they act as agents of that organization. So contracts, they have to remember that whenever that person, agents entering into contracts on behalf of the corporation or artificial person, they are entering into contract with their signature and the seal of the organization. And plus we have to remember that their internal activities are regulated by articles of association. Their dealings with external people are decided by the memorandum of association. If they are entering into contract against articles of association or memorandum of association, it is considered as ultra vires. They are not capable, it will be against the rules of the artificial person or corporation. The contracts will not be valid. Now the second point, that is incapacity arising from mental deficiency of the person contracting. Mental deficiency, that's a state of mind for temporarily a person undergoing psychiatric treatment. That is his mental deficiency for time being. When he will undergo the treatment, after that he will be all right, then he can enter into contract. So the first point we have to remember, minor or infants. A minor is if he have not completed 18 years of age, he or she is considered as a minor in India. Some cases, if the parents are not alive, the court will appoint a guardian. So if parents are there, minor can enter into contract along with the parents. If parents are not alive, court will appoint the guardian and the guardian will decide the decisions for the minor. And if he is entering into any contract, that will be along with the guardian. So imagine a guardian is appointed by the court. Then the minor, only when he will attain 21 years of age, then only he will be considered as a major. Now, persons of unsound mind. What do you mean by persons of unsound mind? A person undergoing psychiatric treatment, mental deficiency. So, person of unsound mind cannot make a rational judgment. Whatever decisions he is taking in that state of mind will be he cannot decide what is right and wrong. So, he may enter into problems. So, that is why the Contract Act is saying that persons of unsound mind cannot enter into contract. So, here a person of unsound mind can enter into contract when he is of sound mind. That meaning during the treatment time, he cannot enter into contract. Then a person of sound mind but occasionally of unsound mind may not make a contract when he is of unsound mind. Because sometimes we will see people, temporarily they will be taking treatment, then they will be all right. Again, they will go back. So that meaning temporarily or occasionally of unsound mind, they cannot take when they are taking the treatment. So the Contract Act is very clear that persons of unsound mind, when they are undergoing the treatment, they cannot enter into contract. Now, idiots, that is the third point. Usually, we will not use this term. An idiot is a person who lost his mental powers. See, people will see on the road, sometimes they may be taking excessive drugs, drug addicts, alcoholics. They lost their thinking capacity. So here you have to remember, idiocy is permanent, whereas lunacy is periodical. Lunacy meaning you are getting temporary, you are taking mental treatment temporarily, that when the treatment is over, you will become all right. Whereas idiot meaning a person, he is going out of mind permanently. There is no question of coming back. They have reached their stage, they lost all their consciousness to take the decision, rational decision. So they cannot enter into contract. Whereas we have seen that in the case of mental deficiency, when they are out of treatment, they can enter into contract because it's periodical. Whereas idiots meaning they're permanent, the situation is permanent. They will not come back to the normal stage. Now, drunken or intoxicated persons. So here you have to remember that a person is taking alcohol in a drunken state. Whatever decisions he will take, it will not be rational. So temporary incapacity will come in an intoxicated state. When a person is consuming alcohol, when he is under that influence, he cannot take a rational decision. That time he is not capable of taking into a proper decision. So you have to remember that drunken state, a person is not capable of entering into a normal contract, or that person in an alcoholic state is incapable of entering into contract. So this is what I wanted to explain, the incapacity of the person for entering into contract. Thank you. Happy learning.